Ooh.
Yeah, oh, you're good.
That needs to go down a little bit. All right, thank you. So my name is Mark Kashan. I'm here to talk to you today about security, cybersecurity, traveling. I promise to say cybersecurity one more time tonight. I won't keep using that term. The title is Chasing Shadows of Light, or How Not to Get Owned While You're on Travel. So, disclaimer, can you turn that down a little bit more? Just the main. Thank you. So, disclaimer, today there is going to be a live demo. I'm legally and ethically obligated to tell you if you don't want to be part of it, you'll have to put your phones and tablets into airplane mode. If not, I want you all to participate. It's kind of cool. It'll get you thinking. But I have to tell you this. And another quick little disclaimer. Everything today I'm showing you tonight, it's unclassified, it's publicly available, it's general knowledge. You know, you're not learning anything you can't learn on the internet. And unless you know what you're doing, please don't try this at home. You can get yourself in trouble with a demo. That goes out to the curious high schoolers that are willing to try this at home. So, likewise, today I am going to be telling you some things that might make you nervous. That's the point. Security is a serious topic. If it makes you nervous, remember, it's a pitch. Remember the kittens. So, smile, we'll get through it, but there are some serious moments here coming up. So, about myself, why should you believe me tonight? So, I've worked in enterprise IT roles for about 10 years now. I've worked for Hewlett-Packard, Boeing, Eaton RE2 School District, and University of Portland. I've done a little bit of everything, but I've been around a lot of different IT different areas to understand the good, the bad, and what things you might not know about when you're not just day in, day out IT admin. Certifications. I'm a certified information system security professional, Passive Security Plus, ITIL. You don't care about the details, but I've taken tests that people have said, yes, he knows what he's talking about. And more than anything, I love my job. I love my job. So what gets me out of bed in the morning to go to my IT job? It's to fix things and to keep the bad people out. That's my day job. So, want this to be interactive. What is security? Someone raise your hand or just shout it out. What do you think security is when we're talking about computers, cell phones, tablets? Come on. Yes?
Protecting from unwanted hacking or interception of information.
Okay, that's good. Someone else? Excuse me?
An illusion.
An illusion, yes. That's a very good point. So the idea is, Sun Tzu said, be ready for the unexpected. And that's really what kind of security boils down to. It's what you're doing today, but it's the layer on top that keeps unexpected things from happening, keeps people from getting into your systems, into your devices, into your accounts, and doing bad things to you. It is not making your life harder. Some people say security, the best way to do it is to leave it in the box unplugged. That doesn't mean you can't use it, or that doesn't mean you can use it. So security is not about making things harder for yourself. It's about doing things right so you can keep doing what you're doing as you're expected to do it. So, a fun question. Is anyone out to get you? And I want the high school students also to answer this question. Who might be interested in hacking you, getting into your stuff, stealing your identity? Some ideas. Laughing won't help. I need an answer. Identity thieves? Okay. What about your neighbors? Your neighbors want to get into your computers?
Yes, free Wi-Fi.
Free Wi-Fi. Excellent segue. We'll get to that. What about someone other than identity thieves or people trying to steal your Wi-Fi? What about ex-boyfriends, girlfriends? What about people that want information from your employer? What about people that don't care about you, that just want to make a buck off of you as a person, as a login? The answer is everyone. Your banking accounts, your credit card numbers, your contacts, any of this that you see on the screen here, there's a dark market out there for it. People hear about Target getting $10 million or 10 million credit cards stolen. That's happening because people will to pay for it. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, this is cool, I'm not a business, I'm I'm a painter, I'm an electrician, I'm a banker. This is real. This is impacting you whether you realize it or not. And the scariest part is that it may be happening without you knowing it. So, next question. Where do you think the easiest place to find your data is today?
Social media.
Social media, I heard phones. Any other answers? I think I heard someone say laptop, maybe. Whoever said phones, you're right. These little devices of ours, we use them for Facebook, we use them for our banking, we use them for our pictures, for our family and friends. They know where we go, they know when we sleep. There's actually an interesting piece of code written recently that you can track people's sleep through malware written for Facebook. How many of you check your Facebook before you go to bed? Show of hands. Yeah, I should see more hands, I'm sure. But, your devices are the easiest place to get to because they're always with you. And so here's the fun little demo part. Does everyone grab out your cell phones or iPads? I'll just start something over on my other computer here. So what I'd like you all to do, if you have your phones out, go ahead, go into your Wi-Fi settings, and try to connect to some Wi-Fi network. It could be your home, you could type in demo, try to connect to something.
Should we hit demo?
Yeah, so if you see demo, you can click to that one, or you can type something else and it doesn't matter. Yeah. And now go ahead and open up Safari or Chrome, whatever browser you have on your phone.
Mine's unable to join the network.
Hi, Mary.
Okay, we may have actually crashed it.
I'm in.
Someone's in, okay.
We turned it all on at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. That's what happens with live demos. Stuff happens. How many of you were able to connect to a demo or something else? Okay, let's keep trying. A couple more people. Connect to demo or connect to a different network. Okay. So, well, let's just keep going forward here. Some of you have connected, some of you haven't. If you go into Chrome or go into Safari, whatever web browser you have, pick a website. Try going to ESPN, try going to Fox News, CNN. Pick a website. I see somebody's phone tried to connect to Chick-fil-A Wi-Fi. That's great. So, first person to have it, press the play button when you see it. Is anyone's? Yeah, there we go.
Supposed to have?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to have.
Okay.
So what website did you try
Well, I
to get?
just went to the ESPN. And it
Okay.
says it looks like you've chosen the wrong Wi-Fi network.
Okay. Does anyone else see that screen yet? Raise your hand. No? You must be the lucky one person out of this whole demonstration.
Great.
Okay.
They crashed my
So,
Play it.
yeah, go ahead and play it. We got this awesome annoying little sound. It's Afro Circus from, yeah. So essentially what I've done, and unfortunately, I have an 11-year-old laptop running this, so I managed to crash it. But what I've been able to do here is at least pretend to be a Wi-Fi network. It's an 11-year-old laptop, a $20 Wi-Fi adapter. This isn't three-letter agency grade anything. But I was able to fool all of your devices into thinking there's at least a network you recognize out there. Today I took you to a fake website. Nothing harmful, didn't steal your data. But, what if you're at a hotel in Poland? What if you see a login page like this? Most hotels have some kind of login page. And how many of you have used the login with Facebook button? Anyone? See a couple hands in the back, hand up front. So if you click that button, today I'm running something harmless and it's annoying, but if you click that button, how do you know that someone isn't stealing your Facebook login? Anyway. You don't know, that's right. Same goes for anything. There's a human social aspect that becomes really easy to do when you're doing it. It's called a man-in-the-middle where it's something, oh, I'm traveling, it looks a little bit different. Maybe it takes a Polish Facebook page and try to log into facebook.com. Well, it looks like the login page with my username and password. I've stolen your login. How many of you have ever reused a password? Raise your hand. Yeah, most everyone here has reused a password for something. And that's a great place where I can take that password, sell it on the dark market. See if it logs into your bank account. See if it logs into, for parents, your IRA or 401k. For kids, what if I log into your Twitter, to your Tumblr, to your Gmail account? That's one of the things you need to start thinking about, because today, I'm stealing your login for Facebook, and you might not care that you might have to change your Facebook password when you get home. But if you're in Poland, and I've stolen the cute guy that you girls like, or the cute girl that you guys like, log in. I log in as them, I send the cute girl that's also on the trip message, hey, meet me downstairs by the vending machine. It's after curfew, but you know the person. They message you on Facebook. It must be them. You just got kidnapped in a non-English-speaking country. Nobody knows you're missing until next month. That's because you need to stop and think about what you're doing. So, I saw the parents cringe a little bit. Remember the kids. So, what did we learn here? I wish we cooperated a little bit more. But if you got it to work? Okay, we got 2 people. Feel good about that. But the answer is nothing's completely secure. We all think of our phones as this safe haven. It's my phone. It's connected to the internet, and it's between me and Facebook, or me and Google, or me and whatever other website I'm getting to. But that data on the wire is inherently vulnerable. And unless you're paranoid enough to stop and think about the consequences of what you're doing, that matters. That's what you need to stop and think about. So anything can be listened to, and there are real-world consequences. So at this point, I'm going to pause for a second. What questions does anyone have? Yes?
Do you recommend we change our passwords before we go over, or when we return from Europe?
So the question is, do you recommend we change passwords before or after we return? It's always good to change passwords. That's the bottom line. You don't want to repeat it, and ideally you should be rotating them at least every 6 months, if not more often, for important stuff. It wouldn't hurt to change your passwords when you get back. A lot of websites such as Google, Facebook, a lot of banks offer what's called 2-factor authentication. You type in your password, they'll send you a text message, or they'll call you saying type in this code. That's another way to do it. Amazon has that turned on, so if someone steals your password for your Facebook and you happen to be using it on Amazon, you can't come home and find out that, someone else got it. You can't find out that you ordered a wood chipper or something that shipped to Georgia. It's always a good idea to change your passwords. Any other questions?
Is it safe when you're in, like when we're in the hotels, generally they'll let us use their Wi-Fi and they give us a password. But if you're only looking on the internet, you're not going into your personal information.
So the question was, is it safe to use the hotel's Wi-Fi? It's a managed risk scenario. It's, can you use it to get to things that don't matter? Facebook, Twitter, CNN, something like that? Yeah, sure, go use it. But you have to think about it. That's the bottom line, is you have to think about what you're trying to do. Are you trying to log into banking stuff? Are you trying to log into something you don't recognize? If someone says, hey, this is, we go back a couple slides, hey, this is the hotel's Wi-Fi page, you'll believe it. But you have to stop and think about what are you trying to do with that. If you don't need to use it, you're on a pilgrimage. That's the purpose of this meeting. That's the purpose of this trip. Is you're there to be connected with the larger Catholic community of world unity. Do you need to be on Facebook to do that? That's between you, your device, and trip coordinators, however they want to work that. And my mom's smiling. So, no, we'll wait till the end for more questions. So, obviously, things on the Wi-Fi, we've talked about that. Some practical steps about what you can do. Understand what you're doing, why you're doing it. Don't use networks you don't recognize. Here we all are comfortable connecting to Google Starbucks. If we're connecting to our home Wi-Fi, links to say, Xfinity, whatever it's called at home. If you're not at a Starbucks, why do you see Starbucks Wi-Fi at your hotel? It goes back to the think about it. Don't use it if you don't recognize it or if you don't have to use it. Same thing, minimize your idle surfing, minimize your logging into things if you don't need to. If you don't need to check your bank account overseas, don't. Do your updates, and that should say before you leave, but I forgot to add that edit. All of you have probably seen on your home computers the Java update that shows up and annoys you until you finally get into it and update it. Or we've seen the little red number of things you haven't updated on your phone if you're an iPhone user. That's free security that the people that write your code are giving to you. Free, $0. It takes a little bit of time to hit update and let it download. It's always a good idea to patch stuff early, patch stuff often, and especially in this case when you're traveling abroad, patch stuff before you go. A lot of these security fixes, they're holes that are known. You can go online, there's tools out there that literally create catalogs of all the things saying, I want to break into an iPhone. Click, they haven't done this update. Click, hey, I have access to your iPhone now. It really becomes that easy to do. So do your updates early. And also, don't trust any USB devices. We'll get to this in the next slide. So USB devices, it's a really, how many of you have ever had to type in a password to get to USB stick? I'd be surprised if any of you raise your hand for this. Yeah. USB is an inherently trusting interface. So that means when you plug your phone into the free, USB outlet at the airport, the comfy Southwest Airlines chairs, your phone's inherently going to trust it, or most likely going to trust it blindly. And it's a great way to put stuff sideways into your phone. And this is real stuff. Talking about iPhones, talking about Android devices, this happened at the G20 summit. Russia handed out free iPhone adapters to incoming diplomats, and they had malware built into them. Isn't that awesome? Your diplomats will plug in your phones, and they'll give you a backdoor for free. So that's why anything with a USB charger, bring your own from home and use that one charger. Don't use the ones at the chairs at the airport. Don't use the freebie ones they're trying to hand you on the street. Even if it's not your phone as a high schooler that's going to be have anything sensitive on it, it's still going to come home. You're still going to bring it onto your home Wi-Fi where your mom or dad connect their work computers if they work from home. You're still going to take it to school. Maybe your school has Wi-Fi. You're going to put it on that, and everyone else in your school is going to be able to get a worm out of that. It's so easy to pick something up, and the best designed viruses out there go completely unnoticed. That's the scary part. And this is an example of the USB charging outlets. If your phone's dying and you're at an airport, you're just going to plug it in. You're not going to stop to think about it. That's where you need to stop to think about it. So next up, downloads. If you're overseas, people are going to say, oh, download this app, download this piece of software, download our cool ringtone, download this, download that. That's social engineering at work. That's them saying, hey, I think it's cool, you should think it's cool, you should install it. Easiest way to put things on your computer is to have you put them on there. Same goes for phones, same goes for tablets. It's really easy when you can talk people into things to get into their devices. So if you don't need it, don't use it. If you didn't need it here stateside, you probably won't need it in country or when you're abroad. And update what you already have. The balance of needing and wanting things. How much technology do you need? I can't answer that question for you. This context is a religious trip. It's not a business trip. It's not a school trip. You're not necessarily writing a report on it. Maybe you are. You need to find that balance for yourself. But remember, the more you bring with you, the more you use it, that increases what's called your attack surface. That means it's more exposure you have. If you don't have anything that plugs in with you, there's nothing for anyone to hack, to infect, to bring back home. If you bring everything with you, you have everything with you. That's the point. They can get into whatever they want. So it becomes this balancing act of what do you actually need. If you have a paper map, use a paper map. You don't necessarily need to download some app someone on the street says, oh, hey, I heard about this cool World Youth Day app. Interesting way to think about it. And remember, whatever you pick up over there comes back home with you. A lot of times, especially for adults out here, if you go to conventions, you'll pick up a USB stick. At a convention, you'll bring it home. It's a home and garden show. Say, hey, this is have a free USB stick with our lawn company. Well, why should you be getting a USB stick from a lawn company? If you're a high schooler, World Youth Day branded stuff from the World Youth Day store, probably okay. But if someone on the street is handing them out, hey, come check out our club, come check out our latest demo tape. It may have a real demo tape on there. It may have some neat pictures of Poland on there. What else does it have? And unless you're in the business of looking for that, you may not recognize that until it's too late. You brought it home, and now suddenly you have a backdoor into your computer, or into your parents' computer, or your home computer, or your school computer. Questions? Went kind of quick through that. I wanted to leave as much time for questions as possible. Yes?
Do you have any insight into what the Russians did to people's cell phones during the Russian Olympics?
That was not disclosed. I'm sure in classified circles there's probably an answer for that. I didn't find one on the internet, and I'm not going to speculate. But what would you do if you were Russian intelligence trying to get into a diplomat's phone?
Should you delete certain apps before you go over? Your banking app, obviously, I'm not going to need that.
Should you delete apps before you go? That's actually a good question. It goes back to the idea of balance of what you need versus what you want. Do you feel comfortable taking your First Bank or Chase or whatever app overseas? Are you going to need them for the 2 weeks of the trip? 15 days of the trip. If you don't need it, don't bring it. You can always reinstall it when you come back home. Other questions? Yes?
What are your thoughts just on email in general?
Thoughts on email in general? Email, it's a great way to stay in touch. There's ways that it can be done well. If you have a mail app on your phone that you've already, you're at home, you've set it up, you've put the password in at home. Generally, if it's an IMAP connection and it's using SSL, those are some settings you'll see in there. That's actually a secure way to do it. At the same time, if you don't need to be in touch with anyone for 15 days, don't do it. So, email is kind of the lesser threat here because that password isn't actively being exchanged necessarily. Go ahead.
How about letting everybody know when you get there, turn off your data roaming?
Turning off your data roaming. So that's less to do with security, more to do with cost. That's a good
I know
point.
that that's
That's
a big
a big thing, yeah.
You don't turn it off, you get a bill that you never wanted to see.
Yeah, that is a good point. I think my mom's going to address that later.
And then check with your carrier what
Yeah.
kind of plan they have.
Yes. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. Yes?
So is it more of logging on to your accounts in, like Poland, or is it bringing an account that you already have, like logged into there?
Is it bringing accounts that you've already logged into versus logging in over there? It's a bit of either or. There's a lot of different ways you can do logins. Some apps and some websites are better than others. It goes back to if you don't need to, don't. That's the best answer. Some things like email where you've logged in from home, some things like your Facebook app where you've logged in from home, you're probably okay. Depends on who's after you, who's after your family, who's after your data. If you've logged in from home, you have a lesser chance of something bad happening, but you never know. Some places do log you out when suddenly they see your device's IP address go from Colorado to Krakow. They'll kick you out because you think, oh, this person's not in Krakow. They'll log you out, and you'll have to log back in. That's where a lot of your exposure comes from. So it might work, it might not work. Yes, Becca.
And what about that application WhatsApp, where you can call without any cost?
Application called
Text without any cost?
WhatsApp. I'm not terribly familiar with it. I do know that it uses your data to do phone calls, text messages. It uses your data. That incurs cost, especially overseas if you don't have an international data plan. It's free to use the app. It's not free to use Verizon or AT&T or any other company like that overseas necessarily. You have to check with your provider on that.
However, if you're online and the person on the other side of the world is online, you can be using that. My daughter was in Peru for the last 6 weeks. We used WhatsApp the whole time whenever she was online and I was online, we could do it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give you data for the online.
Depends on your carrier. Some does, some doesn't. It really just is a case by case. Was she using Wi-Fi?
Well, she's online using Wi-Fi for the
Yeah. See, if you're using Wi-Fi, that's different than using data plan from your carrier.
Right.
So,
Online.
yeah, if you're using Wi-Fi, it tends to be free. And there's lots of options out there. There's WhatsApp, there's Skype, lots of choices. Yes?
Can you address these problems?
Oh, that's actually a good point. My point about don't charge things from USB, a great idea, and I've traveled with these for years. It's actually a rechargeable battery pack. You charge them up at home or you charge them up from a wall phone charger, and that way, and if you're left in a situation where you don't have an outlet, you can always charge from here. It's your device, you own it, you bought it from a reputable source here stateside. Now, it's probably not going to try to load anything onto your phone.
And we can charge it.
It doesn't matter where you charge it if you use a wall adapter. So, because this doesn't have any smarts in it. Other questions? Yes?
What about Skype?
Skype? It works.
Well, I mean, are there any precautions that you would need to take with it?
Again, anything can be listened to if someone's trying. So if you're having a Skype session, keep it light, keep it. Don't discuss, hey, Dad changed your bank password to this, just be smart about it. Anything from a phone call to a instant message chat between WhatsApp or Skype or Google Video or FaceTime, any of those can be listened to. So I can't speak to anyone being better than any other one. Yes?
Can you address the use of, hotel's computer and web browser cache?
Great question. The question was about using a shared computer in a hotel and what gets cached when you leave it behind. How many of you have ever tried or looked at your web browsing history on your computer? Surprised by the things you see there? Now imagine it's a computer everyone else has used. Yeah. You leave cookies and stuff behind, literally, they're called cookies. You leave a digital trail of where you've been, things you've logged into, things you've looked at, what your username, what your email was. Hotel computers are great if you need to print something out. You shouldn't necessarily rely on them. If you're a tour guides, trip coordinators, travel professionals, they'll be taking care of the paperwork, I'm assuming. So you can use it if you want to check ESPN. Should you be using it for your Gmail? Probably not. Any last questions I'm getting in? Time's up. Okay, I'll be here the rest of the evening if any of you have any more questions. Thank you for playing along, those of you who did get this to load, and appreciate it. Thank you.